Testing, 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 testing. Okay. I'm going to check the audio on my phone. I have no idea. I don't understand why the audio cut out last time. That was just random. So I'm waiting for my phone to reboot to tell me if I have audio coming through. If you can hear me, drop a comment in the chat and let me know. Once again, I do apologize. I don't know why it cut out like that. But I'll start from the top. And we'll go to like 3:35. So give me 1 second to check the audio on my phone. 1 second to check the audio on my phone. Audio is coming through clearly on my phone. I'm going to drop a message in the chat. Feel free to let me know. Thank you, sister, for letting me know that it cut out. At any time, if you experience an issue, just drop a comment in the chat. Let me know. Once again, I have no idea why that happened. So from the top, thank you for joining the conversation today. Today is Dope for Degrees Weekly YouTube Live, where we answer any questions you have about scholarships. I go live on Dope for Degrees community, Dope for Degrees YouTube channel every single Sunday at 3:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dope for Degrees is a scholarship coaching company where I teach students how to earn scholarships to go to college and graduate debt-free. I graduated debt-free from Virginia Tech on May of last year, 2019, having earned more than $200,000 in scholarships. And so this is literally a Q&A forum, like an open forum, what have you, about scholarships. To recap what I said before the chat cut out, I was talking about my teaching at CSM, the College of Southern Maryland. For those of you who have been following the channel recently, then you know I obtained a professorship. Well, I earned a professorship at the College of Southern Maryland. And so I served as an adjunct professor on February 1st, which was the first Saturday of February, and February 8th, which was yesterday. And yesterday was the last class for that, for the course for this semester, winter 2020. And so what I did was, the course was titled College Without Student Loans. On the first day, I walked them through the scholarship process, gave them an overall view of how it works and what it looks like practically and tangibly, and then took a lot of Q&A, took a lot of questions, helped them gauge whether or not it would be a good choice for them in terms of how to pay for college. And then the second day, which was yesterday, we actually started applying for scholarships. So they found their own scholarship within that time after the first class ended and before the second class came to class, and we actually started applying for their first scholarship. So yesterday was extremely interactive. I loved it. I had a great experience at CSM, the College of Southern Maryland, located in La Plata, Maryland. Good news is you get an inside peek right here. I may be teaching again there before the year is out. I'll keep you updated. I'll definitely let you know as I get more information, as things are confirmed and solidified, and I'll put another video out on the channel to educate everyone and make everyone aware. What I will say is that the knowledge and information I taught in that class, I will be reproducing it and selling it as products and services on Dope for Degrees website. And so stay tuned to that. Thank you again for all of the encouraging words to support the love. It means a lot. It helped me. The prayers to push through that moment and be very successful in that process. So thank you again. I definitely appreciate it. What did we do this week for Dope for Degrees? So professorship ended yesterday, but y'all know we uploaded 3 videos this week. I uploaded scholarship success scenarios intro. I uploaded that video on Wednesday. Every time I create a new series on the channel, I add a new playlist. And so that series will teach you how to make practical decisions, like who should you ask for a letter of recommendation, your English teacher or your history teacher. If you're in a situation in a bind and you're trying to decide whether you should apply for this scholarship over that one, how do you make those types of decisions? Because that's really what impacts your scholarship success, those day-to-day practical decisions, especially when things get tough and the demands of school increase, especially around exam time, or you get tired of having to do the same thing over and over again and you want to take a break. Is that break worth you potentially having to take out a student loan? There's a lot of things I thought about in our process as I went through my own scholarship process. And so I just want to bring those types of conversations and those types of scenarios to the channel to help you understand. At any point in time, if you have a question or a comment, or you have a question about scholarships, leave it in the chat. I'm definitely going to answer it. So that was the first video we uploaded. The second video we uploaded this week was Habits of Scholarship Winners. the February 2020 college and high school editions. If you're unfamiliar with that series, Habits of Scholarship Winners is basically a monthly game plan for your scholarship success. It is heavily influenced or impacted by my own scholarship experience and then the habits of those who are known as the best in their fields and their industries. So for instance, when I shot that intro video in September of 2019, I mentioned Kobe Bryant. His Mamba mentality was something that I analyzed, I researched on my own and how it helped him on the court. Rest in peace to him, his daughter, and all the loved ones and all the people who were on that helicopter ride. It's a tragedy. Definitely been sending prayers up their way and for everyone who's involved and emotionally attached to that situation. And so people who are successful like that do things differently than others. Like we all go to school. We all in America, we're all required to go to school or obtain some form of education. But there are those who are better than others. And that some people may equate that to a person's talent or their natural gifts and abilities. But it's heavily contingent upon a person's discipline. How disciplined are you? How much are you willing to sacrifice to produce the results you want to produce? And that series, Habits of Scholarship Winners, is giving you that game plan. I noticed on the channel, it's one of the series with the least amount of views. I get that because when you actually talk about putting in work a lot of the times, and actually talk about doing the things that no one likes to do, most people tune you out. But when I tell you that Taco Bell is giving away $1 million in scholarships divided between 100 different students, everyone's ears are up. But when it comes to doing that process over and over and over again for years, in my case for 5 years, to ensure that you earn enough money to graduate debt free, that's when the rubber meets the road. And you really realize if you're really committed to the process. And so one thing I taught at CSM yesterday was the difference or the two factors that will determine whether or not you'll actually be successful when applying for scholarships. And those two factors are time and mindset. I don't care what you want to do in life. I don't care what you want to accomplish. I don't care what you seek to achieve or who you desire to be. You will need time to do it. You need time to do everything, but it's the one thing we can't control. We can't control whether or not we get to see the next 5 seconds, the next 50 days, or the next 50 years. We don't have any control over that. And so with the scholarship process, you have to put in the time. Now, I told them yesterday on a good day, like for a student, a minimum amount of time you need to put in per week to the scholarship process is 10 hours per week. But you really should bump it up to 20 because it should become a part-time job. Forgive me, I forgot to cut my heat off. But the scholarship process, you want it to become a part-time job because it requires a lot. Writing essays, asking people for letters of recommendation, doing the same thing over and over again, analyzing, keeping your grades up. Like it demands a lot of you. But that type of work ethic, that type of sacrifice at this young of an age will discipline you and show you what type of work you have to put forth later on in life to get the things you want. And so that's the first factor, time. The second factor is mindset, is actually making sure that you have a mindset of progress, not perfection, because you won't be perfect in anything, but you should always seek to make progress. And so knowing that, hey, maybe I said I was going to submit 10 scholarships over winter break, and then my body was exhausted and I crashed and I didn't submit any. So when next winter break comes, you need to do at least 10. And if you really want to challenge yourself, double it up to 20 because it's all about progress. You can't have 2 winter breaks back to back where you don't stick to what you say you're going to do and expect to produce the results you want. You can't make progress if you're stagnant. So you have to make a move. The question you should ask yourself is, which step are you willing to take? And so really, really looking at how disciplined and how much sacrifice you're willing to make will tell you how far you're going to go before you even get started. And that's all. It depends on your commitment, the level of your commitment. If you do anything half-heartedly, you get poor results. But if you put your whole heart into it, you put everything into it, you'll get great results. So as always, drop a question or comment you have about scholarships in the chat. I'd be more than happy to answer it. One thing I do want to have, I'm looking at the chat on my phone, so I'm trying to figure out, make sure I'm not missing anything too. One thing I do want to acknowledge is that a lot of you all reached out to me last week, which was perfect. I want you to do that. I want you to reach out to me because I want to help you and answer any questions you have. And so when you reached out, a lot of people were asking me, they were struggling with the whole local scholarship process. Like, how do I find local scholarships? How do I find, I can't find a community foundation in my hometown. And so I know that's a big issue for a lot of people. So I wanted to talk about that today on the channel, local scholarships and how do they work? How do you find them? Well, there's a 4-part process I identified when I was finding local scholarships. It was a combination of Google, calling people, doing community service, and asking people. I'll write it in the chat so everyone has it. Give me 1 second. How to find local scholarships. Google, service, calling others, and asking people. All right, I'm going to weave that into the other 2 videos we dropped on the channel this week because it ties right back into it. So I talked about the Habits of Scholarship Winner series and how to find local scholarships. And I asked you to apply for 6 local scholarships this month to successfully complete February with your scholarship journey, like to successfully put in enough work in the month of February to help you earn scholarships. Apply for at least 6 scholarships this month. Now, in the big frame of things, if you're averaging 3 scholarship submissions a week, then that's 50% of your submissions. They need to be local scholarships this month. The next video I dropped was Community Foundation of the Dan River region. I analyzed the community foundation in my hometown, and one of their scholarships, I actually applied to that community foundation and won the highest award when I was a high school senior. And it was a renewable scholarship, which means I received it every single semester I was in college. Now, me receiving that scholarship every single semester was contingent upon my ability to maintain a certain GPA and do a certain number of community service hours. But what I learned was that once you lock into a local scholarship, it opens a lot of doors for you because your name gets around town and you become, quote unquote, or you have the potential to become a hometown hero. Now, when you're in high school, and this works for college students too, especially if you relocated to attend a college, let's say you left your hometown. In my case, I left Danville, Virginia to go to college at Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, Virginia. Danville, Virginia is in South Central Virginia. Blacksburg, Virginia is in Southwest Virginia. Blacksburg is near Roanoke. And so I went from my hometown where I was very familiar with the area. I knew a lot of the nonprofits and small businesses in the area. I'd done community service to an area where I had no track record of community service. I didn't have any connections like that until I started building relationships on campus and off campus. And so I'm still applying for scholarships as a college freshman, trying to figure out how to get money. And now I have to repeat the process I did in Danville. And that process is 4 steps. How to find local scholarships. Google. I went to Google and I said scholarships in Blacksburg, Virginia, scholarships in Roanoke, Virginia. And I started to see different opportunities. For instance, the Community Foundation of the New River Valley. So there was a community foundation in my hometown and a community foundation in my college's hometown. And so now I had 2 different community foundations I could apply to because I was attending Virginia Tech and I'm a resident of Danville, Virginia. I mean, I grew up in Danville, Virginia, graduated from high school in Danville, Virginia. And so I was able to repeat the process. So Googling, simple Google searches like that. And we got on the chat last week and people were asking me about scholarships in New York. And I talked to someone who's from a different part of New York this week on the phone. And we were talking and they said, hey, I saw that you helped them find local scholarships from upstate New York. But I'm from I don't know which part of New York they were from. I think they're from actually New York City, the person I talked to on the phone. And they said, but I can't find any. I said, well, we'll have to refine your search. So we're going to have to look at the area. And when I was doing research for that person on the chat last week, I started to realize I couldn't find any for that particular city they gave me. I forgot what they told me, but I could find some for that county. So I'm from Danville, Virginia. It's an independent city, but the county around Danville is Pittsylvania County, Pittsylvania, Pittsylvania County. Now, if you are from an area in New York, you know there are boroughs in New York. but there are also cities and counties. So if you can't find any local scholarships on Google based on the actual city state, you definitely want to look at the county. And so with that, you want to combine community service. When you just go out and serve people, whether it's help the elderly, taking their groceries from the grocery store, or it's cleaning up streets, taking out trash, helping people take the trash cans to their corner, or you're at the homeless center, or you're at the community center where there are kids, or you're volunteering at your church. It doesn't matter. If you are active in your community and you're being selfless, that word is going to spread really, really fast. And so that helps you build a reputation of being selfless. And one quality or characteristic scholarship providers love to see in students, especially at such a young age, is selflessness. But it's also known as selfless ambition. So you're ambitious, you're trying to make steps, you're trying to go somewhere in life, you're trying to do something, whether it be go to college and get a degree, but at the same time, you have a mindset of selflessness. You're not being selfish to do this just for you, but you have the mindset as I rise and as I go up, I'm taking others along with me. And so being able to demonstrate that through your action by actually doing community service, and then duplicating that or communicating that in your essay by speaking about what you've done, will help them understand and get a better picture of who you are. All right. So that's the service component. Then the second thing is to calling others. I know this may seem very boring to most young people today. We actually have to pick up the phone and call people because you're trying to understand why you can't just DM them on Instagram, or just, I don't even know, DM them on Instagram, tag them in a story or whatever. I get it. But if you're trying to take a business approach, a professional approach, calling and emailing people is the preferred method. You might reach them on Instagram, DM, Facebook, inbox, all these different things. That could work. I'm not going to say it can't work because I've actually seen it work before. But it's better to call or send an email, especially when you may not have the transportation to get to them in person. And plus, it just saves you time when you call people. So just calling them and ask them, hey, are you all offering a scholarship this year? These are local businesses. These are small businesses in your hometown, nonprofits, foundations, organizations, the golf club, what have you. Just call them and ask them, the lawyer's office. Ask them, hey, are you offering scholarships to students this year? And if so, how do I find it? What do I need to do? Call the guidance counselors in the area, especially if you're in college. Call these high school guidance counselors and see if they have any, or if they know of any scholarships for current college students. If you are a high school student, ask your guidance counselor and the other guidance counselors around you. Talk to the rival high schools. Go ask them, send them emails, call them. What's up, Dad? I hope you're doing well. And then the last component is asking people. I tell people all the time, be a walking billboard for what you need. That video that's pinned on our YouTube channel, How to Pay for College Without Debt, I talk about the first t-shirt I produced when I was in college. It said debt-free student and had my company's logo on the front. I was a walking billboard for my company. I'm a debt-free student. I'm an anomaly amongst most college students because I've never taken out a student loan, and I never took out a student loan. And so if you have a walking billboard that says bet in the making, marketing major who needs money for college, I need scholarships, stuff like that, it's going to catch people's attention, whether it's in a joking manner, or they're like, hey, I need scholarships too. Or it's like, oh, you need scholarships, how can I help you? Because you never know who you're around, and you never know who they're connected to. And so you just being a walking billboard and actually asking people is going to open up a lot of doors. And oftentimes you asking people who you're connected to directly will show you things that you may have not known, like asking your parent, your guardian, hey, is your company offering scholarships this year? Asking your pastor if he knows if someone's offering scholarships. Asking a teacher if their fraternity or sorority is offering scholarships. Like those types of activities, those types of conversations can open up a lot of doors for you, especially if you have a great track record of being a great student and being someone who is humble and has manners. I'm going to plug this in right here. Operating with a heart of gratitude will open doors for you that you could have never imagined. What do I mean by operating with a heart of gratitude? That simply means having the mindset that you're grateful for every single opportunity, whether it be a yes or a no. that having the mindset that you learn from everything. Everything is a lesson. So you say thank you before you complain. What does this look like practically? This looks like, for me as a student, when I was in high school, operating with a heart of gratitude. Y'all forgive me. I'm trying to make sure my lips aren't chapped. I'm in high school and I'm applying for scholarships. So I'm getting rejection letter after rejection letter, rejection letter after rejection letter. And I can be known as a bold person, someone who just calls a thing. It's like, look, I ain't got time to beat around the bush. Just tell me what happened. So sometimes I would call these scholarship providers and say, hey, thank you for the opportunity to apply for your scholarship. I received a rejection letter, but I wanted to call and inquire as to why you may have rejected me, or what you would have liked to seen in my submission, or better yet, how can I improve? Those types of questions show that you are trying to make progress, as I told y'all all the time, progress, not perfection, and that you want to let them know that you're grateful for the opportunity. That can also be stated in a thank you note. Even if you didn't win the scholarship, write a thank you note and tell them thank you for the opportunity. You never know what type of door that could open for you. So drop a question or a comment if you have one in the chat. That is basically how you find local scholarships. I will produce a whole video on this and basically say what I just said right now. But hey, I just wanted to make sure the information is at your fingertips, because that was the top question I received a lot this week. How do I find local scholarships? And this whole scholarship research process takes time. This is not something that you can do in 20 minutes and think you're going to be good. Because as you know, in my video where I talked about the best scholarships to apply for, there are two different options. Local scholarships, because you're competing against less people and you can have a larger impact for your community service, which can open more doors for you. Or scholarships that fit you best based on your scholarship profile. So your GPA, maybe you've overcome some childhood hardships, maybe you have some special circumstances, your skills, talents, stuff like that, where you're really passionate about it and you can talk about it extremely well in an essay or a video or whatever form of submission they ask for. So yeah, you just want to make sure that you are playing to your strengths. You're putting yourself in a position to win, because you know that you can produce the best quality application or submission you can based on that topic or based on that prompt the scholarship provider is giving you. Yep. So does anyone have any questions? Any comments? Feel free to drop them. Let me know. I am going to go to 3:35, so we have about 7 minutes left. While I'm trying to think what else I want to talk about today. I talked about everything I want to talk about. I'll talk to the parents right now and really put out a message to the parents to let them know. And first of all, I'm grateful for all the parents who watch my channel, who watch Dope for Degrees YouTube channel. I'm grateful for all the parents who share this knowledge with their friends and their coworkers. I am extremely grateful for you, and all the students who do it as well. Everyone who has helped this channel grow and be successful, help this company grow. I'm grateful for you. I'm extremely grateful. One thing that I take into consideration a lot when I produce this type of content and I upload these types of videos and I make a public commitment to upload 3 times a week is I'm trying to create a blueprint. I'm trying my best to lay the blueprint for someone else to follow, to show people who are my age and younger, people who look like me and who don't look like me, that your age does not determine how far you'll go in life. Where you start from does not determine where you'll finish. What you faced and the challenges you had can't stop you from making progress. It won't stop you from making progress. You just have to be consistent and be committed. And so one thing I take into consideration, and I tell y'all all the time, this is not easy. Being a full-time entrepreneur, trying to teach, my goal has always been to teach the next generation how to be great people, to teach the next generation how to leave a legacy for the following generations. I hope my work outlives me. I hope it makes an impact on the world and the way we love each other. But I also understand that doing that requires a lot of sacrifice. It requires a lot of commitment. And so I say this to say thank you to you all for all your support, your encouragement, your love, your feedback, your interaction, your comments, your engagement. It means a lot. It truly means a lot. And like I said, my goal is to leave a blueprint. So the next series I'll go into on the channel after we wrap up the Community Foundation series, the local scholarship series, and a couple other videos I have in mind, we're going to transition into a series called Digital Relationships. And the reason why I want to talk about that series is because the way we live our lives today is totally different than the way my parents live their lives at their age and my grandparents live their lives at my age. And like, it's totally different. Like, it's completely different. My generation, the generation after me, and the generations after me will primarily meet people online. We will first interact with people. The first time we get to know a person will typically be online through either social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, whatever y'all use. I don't know. Y'all know I'm only on YouTube and LinkedIn. Whatever else is coming out, and soon, like whatever else people are using, we will meet people online. And what many students don't realize is what you leave online, what you produce and put on the internet will last forever. Like, it's going to live forever, because you might put it up and try to delete it, but you don't know if someone screenshotted it. You don't know if someone screen recorded it. You don't know if someone has downloaded the file before you deleted it and they got it on a hard drive. You don't know what's happened or how that can be used against you. And so in this attempt to make digital relationships, I also want to, in that series, I'm going to produce a video. And this came to my mind yesterday, and I'm really excited. I can't wait to produce this one. But I'm going to call it, where is it? It's in my notes. Give me 1 second. Digital relationships versus personal relationships. Because you'll notice on this channel, I talk about scholarships. You get a great look at my professional life, but you have no idea what my personal life is like. And that's important because everything isn't everyone's business. And so sometimes students who have they're the first generation to have this type of access to the whole world through social media at any minute of the day. They may not have the emotional maturity, or they may not have developed the emotional capacity yet to understand the difference between putting out what you want people to know about you and putting out and protecting yourself from what people need to know about you. Like, they may not know how to draw that thick line in the sand and separate business and personal. And so that series, I'm going to dig in. Some things I may hurt. Some things I may say may hurt you. I'm not trying to be offensive or hurt your feelings, but I'm letting you know right now, giving you a heads up, just in case someone says, well, just so you won't have the right to say, well, I didn't know. Somebody should teach you that there's a certain way to conduct yourself on social media, especially when you're applying for scholarships, because these scholarship providers are going to do research on you like never before. Like, when I was applying, yeah, I had a Facebook profile. Yeah, I had an Instagram profile. My parents were very strict on, like, don't post crazy stuff. Like, post stuff if you want to post stuff, but don't go on there and act like you don't have any sense. And so knowing that it doesn't matter if it's Twitter and your page is locked, like, you still have to have a professional appearance, because you never know who can have access to it. And so, like I said before, I hope everything I do gives people a blueprint and how they can be successful. And if someone takes all the knowledge I give on YouTube and they strip it and reproduce it their own way and put their own twist to it, hey, I can't stop you. I'm not going to sweat over it. If that's the blueprint, that's what you took from the blueprint, do what works for you. I'm just going to keep on doing what works for me. But I love y'all. Once again, I always say I appreciate your support and love, because I truly do. It means a lot to me. And I want nothing but the best for you all. Nothing but the best. I will see you in more videos this week. I will talk to you next Sunday. Don't hesitate to reach out if you want to have a one-on-one conversation. And if you just need to chat or leave a comment in one of my videos, if you don't want to talk one-on-one via the phone, and I'll get back to you with a comment right under your comment. So once again, thanks for all the support, the love. I'll talk to you later. Have a great day.